think it's been very valuable to me to hear the stories from another person's point of view of what we were doing, what I kind of remember that we were doing in the 60s. And I've tried to do this with some of the other folks as well, Marvin Lepofsky and so on, just to get a record down of who was doing what and where and when and why. What happened before I started blowing glass? Of course, Tom is my only source for that from the standpoint of Iowa. Marvin was in Madison classes before '64, and also went to the Columbia University, which was the site of the first World Crafts Council meeting. And that's where they took Lubino's furnace, and a number of the European artists saw the American glass blowing style and equipment that Lepofsky and Littleton and Mike Boylan helped set all that up, I think. And that's happening right at the same time that Tom and I are blowing over in Iowa City. That was in the summer of '64. And then that fall, and there was a class at Madison taught by, I guess, Erwin Eich, but with Harvey, of course. And that summer class is where Bob Fritz started blowing glass, and then he went back to his home university, which was San Jose State, where he was teaching clay, and he set up glass that fall, started glass classes in San Jose in the fall of '64, and Lepofsky started the program at Berkeley, University of California, at Berkeley in the fall of '64. He got that job. Harvey handed it to him. And I think Rossback wrote a letter to Harvey Littleton saying, would you come and teach here at Berkeley, leave Madison and come to Berkeley and start teaching glass here. And Harvey didn't want to leave. He was just getting things set up so that he could move into the power position in Madison. And so he just handed the letter to Marvin and said, "Here, boy, here's your next job."
Wow.
And so Marvin accepted it, and that's certainly a part of history now. But there weren't very many places in early 60s. But by the end of the 60s, I think there might have been 25, 30 schools with a glass furnace. Now, they weren't all university program type deals. Some of them were experimental, and some of them were just temporary, like the one in Iowa City and other places. And most of them evolved from Harvey Littleton's classes and workshops.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of exceptions. One was Andy Bellici. I don't think he was involved in any of the early Toledo activities, and I don't think he ever went to Madison, and I don't think he was ever involved, or I don't think he was ever a student of any one of Harvey's students. So he's like an independent.
How about the guy in Everett? The Tom was going up there in Everett.
Yeah, he was at that 60. He was at that 64 workshop in Madison with Erwin Eich.
Who was that?
And his name is Russell Day.
Oh yeah, okay.
And Russell's major contribution to the glass world, he made some great stuff himself, but what I think of as being a very important contribution that he made, that Russell made to the glass, was that he sent 3 very good students to study with Harvey Littleton at Madison. And they were, in order, Bill Boyson, who after he graduated from Madison went to Carbondale and set up the glass thing and built the Gladys portable glass furnace that's pretty famous around the world. Michael Whitley, who after he graduated from Madison at the same time that I did, he went to the Royal College in London and worked there for a brief time, then went back to the United States, and he set up the glass program at Central College in Central Washington, I think. And a number of the Washington State glass artists of today worked with Michael Whitley, but he died a long time ago, so his influence isn't as great as some of the other guys. And the third person was Dale Chihuly. So those three guys, really big champions in the glass world, all came out of Russell Day's recommendation to go to Madison.
Wow.
Yeah. I met Russell about 10 years ago. Great gentleman. He was a little surprised that I knew the story. I guess he didn't have very many people acknowledging his contribution.
I never heard that.
He also had a piece in the World's Fair in Seattle in 1960.
1960?
Yeah.
He had a piece of glass?
Yeah. Stained glass, fused and stained.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Fused and assembled. Yeah. A big panel. Like, I don't know, 4 feet by 3 feet or something.
Wow.
I've never seen a picture of it, so I don't know what it was like. But see, there was a little bit of glass before the blowing that some people don't recognize, but I definitely always point out that the Higgins down in Chicago were fusing and slumping way before 62.
Right.
John Burton was doing lamp working in California before the 62 thing. Edward Eckhart was casting with glass in Cleveland before the 62 thing. There was a guy in...
Thomas mentioned someone in Paris who was blowing glass.
Yeah, Jean Salat. And he had stopped blowing by the time Harvey got over there in 62. So I think he gave some blowpipes or some tools to Harvey and basically said, good luck. But it proved to Harvey that a solo person could have their own shop. And that was a very important contribution that Salah made. But Salah made some beautiful glass pieces. The Toledo Museum has one of the best of his work that I've ever seen. It's a small bowl, turquoise, full of bubbles, and it has white glass applique of running animals on it. It's a beauty.